Well, bunker shots. In previous series, we've discussed standard bunker shots, and I'll talk about that in a moment. But we haven't actually gone into the variety of lies that we can get in a bunker. And of course, we're in winter time here, and your ball can end up in a perfect lie, such as I have in front of me. Potentially, if the bunker's been raked a certain way, you might get the ball sitting up quite high on a tuft of sand. And then we of course have the buried lie there as well, which we'll be discussing in a moment. Let's first start with the standard lie and then adjust our variations on top of that. The standard bunker shot comprises of a slightly open club face, and the best way to define that is when we step into the ball, we will address the golf ball with a square club face with our grip on the club. We will then twist our hands around the grip, which will open the club face. A lot of golfers tend to just turn their hands, keeping them in the same position. That's a no-go because the club face will return closed or square to the ball, which is what we don't want. So ensure you actually re-grip the club face into an open condition. We then will like people to understand that we need to have our feet and our shoulders for a right-handed golfer slightly to the left, and this will encourage us to swing across our body and complement the new open club face we've got. This will help us elevate the golf ball and allow us to get the downward contact. And of course, the other factor we need to have is we need to have our wrists working vertically upwards and downwards and allowing the weight of the golf club to simply cock and uncock our wrists. And it's really important, I can't emphasize this enough to our viewers out there, that the wrists in the joint where it meets the arm, you really need to keep that quite supple and soft. I see a lot of people try and relax their wrist by letting go with their fingers on the golf club, but that's not actually relaxing the joint. It's the joint that has to be relaxed, and many people would liken this to hammering a nail in an upward and downward vertical motion there. So that's what we're looking to do with our wrists. So as I set up to the ball here for this standard bunker shot, slightly open with my feet to the left, re-gripping my club face into an open condition. I like to just waggle the club to cock and uncock my wrists as a precursor there. And then as I swing back, I'm turning my upper body, keeping my lower body braced with my weight into the ground firmly. I'm turning my upper body back and then through. I'm really ensuring as I come through that I'm swinging across my body there, because that's going to produce that path of the club to the left for a right-handed player, which is what we really need to get the spin on the golf ball. So I'll try that now. That was a pretty standard bunker shot. Okay, let's establish that as our base point, shall we? Now, as I've set up before, we can see that the ball's sitting quite high and on a tuft of sand. Occasionally, some of your fellow golfers out there won't get the raking part of the bunkers quite right. So we've got a situation here where if I open my club face as I did in the first standard shot, I'm going to slide the club under the ball too much. So what I actually have to do is ensure that I can get the sweet spot of the golf club directly behind the ball. So I'm going to actually play a very, very slightly open club face here. And to complement that, I'm not going to open my stance nearly as much as what I would have previously. Therefore, the path of my swing will be only very slightly to the left, opposed to cutting across the ball quite considerably for the standard bunker shot. This will ensure I don't slide the club under the ball and hit the ball just out of the bunker or even leave it in the bunker. I'm actually going to get the distance I want. Now, trust me, the ball will hold. So don't hold the green. Don't get scared out there to try and play a squarish bunker shot, because as I said to you, the ball will hold because you have the ball sitting up on quite a tuft of sand. Let's try that. So slightly open feet. And really just trying to pick it off the top of the sand there. I'm really, as you can see, I'm not taking very much sand at all there off that, because if I did, the club would just slide way under the ball. Now we have the poached egg or fried egg or variety of egg that we tend to see out there. It's been called many names. Very frustrating to see when the sand is wet like it is today. It's just been raining earlier this morning. We have the ball plugged in the bunker. Okay, how do we actually access that golf ball? Well, I'm going to need a 60-degree wedge for that if I'm lucky enough to have one. And I've got my caddy there that's just thrown that back. And be careful when you toss your clubs to your caddies. You've got to make sure they catch them. Okay, so definitely I'm not going to open the club face. I'm using the 60-degree wedge angle here to actually assist me. I'm certainly not going to open my stance too much either. I'm almost going to have my hands forward and almost very, very, very slightly turn the club in. And that will actually allow the ball to potentially pop out. Now, I'm not going to have much follow through on this shot with my body, so I'm very much focusing on the downward aspect of this swing, a very vertical up and down swing with my wrist and my arms, and the ball will just potentially pop out. Now, you must be aggressive enough here to get the ball out, so don't be scared in doing that, and really understand that the amount of loft you have will diminish the distance on the ball. And I hit that quite firmly. Had I had a standard lie, that ball would have gone shot way past the green, but I had my 60-degree lob wedge here, which assisted me with that. So we've got the standard bunker shot, slightly open stance and club face. We've got the ball sitting up, which is only very slightly open with more of a squarish condition, and then the plugged lie or poached egg, fried egg, where you have everything almost side on, and if anything, slightly closed with the club face, using a 60-degree loft up and down and help you get out. So whichever lie you encounter in the bunker, you'll be well equipped and prepared to get the ball on the green, and who knows, even up and down for your par.